just getting your feet wet, and just learning.
Actually, you have to take the classes.
Yeah.
You have to go and take the classes. Excuse me, Benjamin.
No, good, fine with that too.
All right, Debbie, are you for or against the village dock and why?
Oh, boy. Oof. I don't,
Could we hear the question again, please?
Are you for or against the village dock and why?
I don't have a feeling one way or the other about the village dock. It's about what you think. And I had a dock growing up, and it's what you think. I grew up with a dock. My grandmother had a dock in Northport. And I have no feeling about it. It's really how you feel, and I want to know how you feel about it. So that's my answer.
Okay, John?
I'm gonna definitely say that I'm on the middle of the road on it. I'm not for or against it. I just want to know what the true cost is now and in the future. I want to know who can use it, who's allowed to and who's not allowed to use it, what the maintenance costs are going to be, and who can regulate all that. Like I said, I don't have a boat, but it's nothing against it. I could fish off of it. You know, I just want the truth about what it's really going to cost us at the end of the day, and how it's going to be maintained, what the maintenance costs are going to be, because I don't want to see, you know, some balloon payment coming on down the road where we're like, oh, this is going on, and, you know, we're hit with something huge that we don't know. We never had before. This isn't something we had in the village before, so that's why it's probably such a big, huge controversy over it. But what do people really want? If they want it, they want it. That's fine. But just do it the right way. That's it. Let's just make sure that everything's accurate, all our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed before we make a huge commitment to something that looks great, and, you know, we're all looking in the storefront window and just can't wait to get it. Next thing you know, we're saying, wow, can we really handle this? Or what's going to be a huge strain and cause more problems down the road. That's all I'm concerned with. But if the people are for it, it's fine. I'm on board. If no one wants it, then they don't want it.
Great. Are you for or against the village dock and why?
I've thought so much about this. I'd like to start by saying also for a village zip line, for a village Ferris wheel, there are a lot of things I would love to do in the village. My favorite fishing buddy in the whole entire world is over 70 years old. He can't kayak out to the dinghy, or row out on a dinghy to the boat, stand up and climb in the boat. So for that aspect, I am for a dock. Am I for the dock? Not necessarily. I wish I could give you a better answer, but I don't think that we need to go as big and in that location. I don't think it's a good idea to put a dock at the end of Washington Street for many reasons. I don't think we have the depth. I think that the ecosystem will be negatively impacted. There's a lot of little periwinkles. There are a lot of lady slippers, many things that live on the seafloor there. If it were possible to have a village dock in another location, I don't know. There are already three-finger piers in between Van Brunt and Walnut, but there's no access to that area. So I think there are other ways to look at it. Again, I would love to go fishing with my dad on my little boat in Port Jeff Harbor, but we don't. We go elsewhere because he can't get on the boat. So would I like a dock? Yes. But again, I would also like a Ferris wheel. I mean, we have to figure out if it's possible. But again, and like my fellow candidates have said, it's about what the people want. Not everybody necessarily wants a dock. Not everybody cares to fish. Not everybody has a 70-year-old fishing buddy. So I think we need to know what everybody wants, and I don't think we do.
Beth, can I just say one more thing, a little quick addition? It just occurred to me that the dock isn't going to have slips. So if your boat is on a mooring, you're still going to have to row out to get to the boat.
But you could pick
Right.
up your crew.
But you can pick up your crew.
Yeah.
But you're still going to have to row out, right? Because I had a boat. So you're still going to have to row out if you're 70 or 20 or, I had a boat more in 2005 too. And I was rowing out in that dinghy and I'm rowing. So that's not going to change anything. Having a dock will not change the initial boat owner from having to row out to get to the boat, to bring to the dock to pick up the crew. Just occurred to me.
Just one question, I just want to say, that's true, except for one thing, where her father wouldn't be able to get on it, she would be able to bring it over. So I'm not really, in that one way or the other, but I just wanted to answer that, because people that can't get on that boat, there are the younger people that can drive that boat over to where the older people can get on.
Thanks. All right, Angie, is drug abuse a problem in the village? And if so, do you think the village has a role to play here?
Yes and yes. I mentioned I live on Walnut Avenue. At the end of Walnut Avenue is a beautiful beach where people like to park their cars. And I find all sorts of little baggies, and there's a medication out there called Suboxone that has the writing right on the little tear off. I do find them all over the place, unfortunately. But I don't think it's necessarily just Poquott. I mean, people will go and park their car and do their drugs wherever they can find a place. But just reminded me of a quick little story. My son and I recently, my 10-year-old, we were walking down to the beach. This was over the winter. It was cold out. It was dark, but I think it was only about 7 o'clock in the evening. And there were people partying hard in the house at the end of Washington. And we had to just laugh because there were all these people out in the street calling to each other and said, "Oh, where's Chris? Where's Chris? I'm over here," pardon my language, taking a... The gentleman was urinating in the bushes. And my son and I we had to just walk by, and we did laugh because what else are you going to do? But I did go home, and we had the conversation, the whole conversation about drugs, alcohol, and this was just an evening going for a walk. What can be done about it is the question. That's a question people have been asking for many years, decades. We have to keep our eyes open, and we have to call public safety if we think that there's
Can't
a
do
suspicious
anything.
vehicle, or I have a problem with people drinking and smoking on the beaches. I don't like it. It is an issue that we have that I would love to get some help with. I don't want to sit there and have a conversation with someone on the beach and cigarette smoke's blowing in my face. I'm a former smoker. I used to smoke, and there's a time and a place. So yes, I do believe there is an issue, and I think my time is about up. But yeah, public safety and each other, we need to work on that issue.
Thank you, John.
Uh,
So, John, is drug abuse a problem in the village? And if so, do you think the village has a role to play here?
Do I know if there is one, if there's a problem within it? I just think that, I don't know. But I do know that we are a secluded small area, and that brings people in that want a quiet place to hang out and do what they want to do. I've seen firsthand transactions happening right at the end of the beach walking my dog. What am I going to do about it? By the time I call a cop, they're not going to be there. But I know that I'm standing there, I'm looking at the car, nothing's going to happen. I know what's going on. The only way I can do that is, you're not going to force that. You know who these people are, you know what they're capable of. But just making it uncomfortable, the fact that you're there and your presence, it did make a point. And then I knew the people that were in there, can confront them, which I did. That's something that I guess it's almost like community watch, because it seems like we're the only ones that see this happening, but by the time you get public safety or a cop there, they're going to be gone. I think it's kind of either you tolerate it or you don't tolerate it. And that's something where you have to confront on a one-on-one level. I have no problem doing that if I see something going on where I've confronted it. because I didn't like it. I didn't like being on my front door. I work in the South Bronx, you see it all the time. I don't drive an hour and a half, 2 hours home, and come home and see the same crap down at the end of my block. You know, I'm not saying that it's okay, you see it there, but I just see it all the time. And you wanna come home and have to deal with it coming home too. So, is it a village problem? Yeah, but we're in the village, so if you see something, you gotta say something, right? I think, like I said, it's either you tolerate it, and we just put up with it, or we all stand up against it. Where you have 5 people seeing what's going on and saying something. It's gonna take all of us, I'm sorry, but that's the truth. If we call the cop, by the time they get there, it's never gonna happen. You gotta confront the source of where it's coming from. If it's within the village, and a couple times it has been with people within the village. So, that's that.
Great, Debbie, same question, is there a drug abuse problem in the village, and if so, do you think the village has a role to play there?
I had a date with the head of the 6th precinct on Friday night. And we talked for 4 hours. And 2 of those hours were about the drug problem in Suffolk County. We have the #1 heroin problem in the state, Suffolk County. And I just listened, and I listened, and I listened, and he was telling me all about it. It's a public health issue. It's not a cop issue. Remember, it takes a village? In this case, it takes a village. It starts in the home. It starts with talking to people. I think there should be 12-step programs in schools, and I'm working on it because I think it's such a fabulous program. I know so many people who have benefited from it. There's it's a pandemic. It's terrible what's happening with this heroin thing. And, I agree with John. It's not about calling the cops. It's about education. It's about communicating. It's about programs in school, talking to your children. All of that stuff needs to be done. Of course, if you see something that's harmful to another, something has to be done about it. But according to my friend, and he's a wonderful, lovely, kind, bright head of the 6th precinct for many, many years. He's very concerned, and he used the word public health issue. There's a lot that needs to be done. That's a tough call, and it's a serious call. But I learned a lot, and that's my feeling about that. Thank you for that question.
Can I just ask one question, to interrupt? Does the public safety go down to the beaches, like, a lot? Because I know that they go to the drive, it all happens in quiet areas. Do you know if they do? I don't know, I'm just asking a question.
I see them go down.
I see them make rounds. I'll see them go to the beach, they'll go down to Washington, and they'll come up.
But they
around
can't do
Chestnut.
anything.
Yeah, I know they go all.
But they can't do anything about it.
But now if they see something, they can't really.
They're not authorized.
They don't have a jurisdiction to do anything.
No,
They
they're
can
not
probably chase them away,
authorized.
but they can't arrest anybody.
But they watch and they remember,
Yeah.
they know
Yeah.
the cars.
From an area, Rocky Point, it was very prevalent on the bottom of where I live, okay? And so I was constantly calling the cops. I'm simply saying that if their presence is there, it's gonna help. So if their presence is there more than in areas that it isn't needed, it's not gonna solve the problem, but it is gonna help. That's all.
All right, moving on. John, let's start with you. Are deer a problem in the village? And if so, do you have any suggestions?
Trees that came down.
You know what? It's funny because, I have a lot of guys that I work with, they're all
I'm
hunters.
sorry,
And
I can't hear John.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the question, could you answer?
Are deer a problem in the village?
Thank you.
And if so, any suggestions?
I work with a lot of guys that hunt, and they're driving 4 hours upstate to go hunting. I said, you know what? Come by me. I said, go to Washington Avenue, you probably get a buck, and one of our neighbors said deer right on 25A. Problem is that deers on Long Island, they have no natural predators besides our cars. Really. I mean, they were pretty much here first. I mean, that's not a really good answer, but it's true. They've been here a long, long time. But, unless you get animal control, I mean, we can't hunt them. So really, what is the answer? We have to go to an outside source about catching deer to get them out of here. But they're only going to keep on breeding, coming back. They're from the power lines. They stay in the preserve. fox urine, I mean, I don't know, I mean, there's definitely some deterrents to keep them out of your yard to eat, I'm sure, because it's all vegetation. It costs a lot of money to make these homes look beautiful. I mean, no one likes to put flowers out. A dog? I don't know. But we can find out. I'm sure we can Google it in 5 minutes and find out, you know, if it's a village problem. I mean, honestly, I drive them, I see them, I stop and I look at them. I mean, I like the deer. I don't like to hit them. I don't want to hit them because it's going to be a lot of damage to your car, but I'm sure there's some solutions we can come up with without killing them. I mean, keeping them away. But I just think it's one of those things where it's one of those, you're living in a beautiful, secluded area, you're going to deal with it. It's part of the landscape.
Angie, same question, are the deer a problem in the village? And if so, do you have any suggestions?
I didn't think we had a deer problem. I didn't think that they were a problem. I know we have quite a bit of deer. I haven't personally hit one. I have never almost hit one. I don't think I've ever seen one dead on the road in Poquott. I'm sure they eat plenty of vegetation in people's yards, but I have a very small yard and not much landscaping. So for me personally, no, I would be honest with you, no. For me, it has not been an issue. I've spoken to my neighbors. I talk to my neighbors all the time. We live on the same block, and one of our neighbors did hit a deer, and it totaled his car, but it was on 25A, and he was traveling quite fast. So I think the answer to the question is no. I don't think we have a deer problem.
Okay, great. Debbie, do you think we have a deer problem in the village? And if so, do you have any suggestions?
Well, if it is, it's certainly a high-class problem. I enjoy looking at the deer. I found there was a buck on my front lawn once in 26 years. In 26 years, I saw one buck on my front lawn. I don't really consider that a problem, but if the villagers think there are too many deer, maybe we should do something with the trees or... my neighbor planted something, were they hemlocks or something that's deer resistant? Hemlocks, I think.
Could be, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
and I think
Something.
something like that. They're deer resistant. They're blossoming. They're beautiful. There are a whole hostas. Forget about it. They love those. But there are a bunch of trees that I wish this were the biggest problem in Poquott. Oh my.
All right. Debbie, let's start with you. Tell us what you would do with the fire pit that is currently in California Park.
Well,
Wow.
okay. So here, I'm going to answer it in two parts. I really feel that if it bothers one person, it shouldn't be there. However, since we have to do things across the aisle here, perhaps, and I'm hoping, we could come up with a solution that says maybe a public fire pit or a public Ferris wheel should be 300 yards from a home instead of 50 feet or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There has to be some medium. Everybody has their minds so made up. We have to open our minds and listen to one another because there's a solution to this. We just haven't found it yet. We just haven't figured it out yet. So that I have a personal feeling for because it's a health issue. Anything with health and safety, of course, no good. But if there are tons of villagers that want it, maybe we can discuss something and there might be a solution. I'm hoping that there will be.
Great. John, same question. What would you do with the fire pit?
Well, as per code, we're not allowed to have a fire pit, so I don't know why it was owned to begin with. So we'll just go with that. So, but just because the village board puts it in, it makes it okay. So let's go back to revising the code. I like having a fire pit. I do. I mean, we were down at the beach. Yeah, we don't have a problem. I guess last meeting I brought up the fact that I was down there. I started it, and it bothered me. I put it right away. I didn't realize it was an issue. If we want it, maybe we should revise the code. it's, look, we all live in a beautiful place, and having a fire pit like that's something nice. How are we gonna reposition it? But is this something that we're gonna overlook and say, okay, it's for the benefit of the village? All right, well, it's fine, but that'll have to be revised. What do we have to start a fire pit in different locations? Because this question was asked, how do we find out where the right place is? Well, we don't know where smoke's gonna go until we light a fire at that given point. I'll say from experience, wet wood makes a lot of smoke, so maybe we should have a shed next to a fire pit if we're all okay with it, and we all say it's all right. Dry wood gives off heat and less smoke. Wet wood gives off a lot of smoke and a lot of problems, period. So that's something to be a little food for thought with the fire pit situation. But hey, if one person's against it, if it's an public health issue, I'm not for it. But you know, like I just said, the fire pit never should have been to begin with because it's against the code. So I don't know why all of a sudden it's there, even though some people above the law. So if they're gonna break that law, what's gonna be the next law gonna break?
Mm-hmm.
You? Angie, tell us what you would do with the fire pit.
I would disassemble it, pack it up and put it away. It's that simple, because the people who live adjacent to the fire pit don't want it, and it negatively impacts their existence. So it's really that simple. I don't even understand why it has gone this far. I don't understand why it's still there. It's very upsetting to hear people express at a meeting that, you know, this fire pit is affecting their health, it's affecting their family. Please take it away. And the fact that it's still here months later is embarrassing. Shouldn't be there anymore.
Great,
And we paid to
thank
put
you.
it up.
All right, so this is